This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight in the Gateway City, it's the I-70 Series. Interleague play is back at Busch. It's the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals. And with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well. The last 3 days, a lot of good things happening with this club, and in particular, Jimmy, the offense.
Yeah, one way to win games is score more runs than the opponent. In the last 3 games, they did that. You can see the averages, the on-base percentage, the home runs, and the runs per game. And that's something you're going to have to do. You're going to have to score runs when you have a lot of energy that they're bringing with these young players. And so, got a lot of guys on the DL. Got to score some runs.
Take a look at our GMC leaderboard. Tyler O'Neill, he's in the lineup tonight. Matt Carpenter has picked it up. Jose Martinez has been there since day one. And Tommy Pham's an MVP candidate. That's a look at your GMC leaderboard. Tonight, it's Miles Michaelis. He gets the call for St. Louis. Rick Ankiel, Scott Warman over in the studio. They'll break down the right-hander when we come back. Legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. It's the I-70 Series. The St. Louis Cardinals, Mike Moustakas and the Kansas City Royals. Always fun when these two get together. The Royals, the Cardinals in St. Louis. And it comes your way next. Royals and Cardinals share a state. Their past couldn't be more different. Tonight, East meets West. Red meets blue. And the Kansas City-St. Louis rivalry is renewed. It's the latest chapter of the I-70 series. It's next on Fox Sports Midwest. Always fun, the I-70 series. And along with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well. Greg Garcia at short tonight. Jed Jerko at third. That's been a revolving door, that left side of the infield. The Cardinals, with their win yesterday, they're now a game and a half back of Milwaukee, and they're tied with Chicago and Pittsburgh in the tight NL Central division. Meanwhile, in the AL Central, it's been a tough go for Kansas City. Only 14 wins this year. They're 14-32. There's a look at Miles Michaelis. Gave up 2 runs in his last start, a day game at Minnesota. He was 1 out away from picking up a chance at a win. A ball dropped in shallow left, probably should have been caught. That cost him the chance to at least register for a victory, and the Cardinals eventually held on for a 7-5 win. Old friend John Jay back in town, the center fielder for the Kansas City Royals. He's been swinging a hot bat. And we take a look at the Ned Yost lineup. John Jay and Jorge Soler, then Mike Moustakas, Salvador Perez, Whit Merrifield, Hunter Dozier, Alex Gordon, Alcides Escobar, and the pitcher Ian Kennedy. Ned Yost has won a world championship with the Kansas City Royals, but back on November 4th, he fell 20 feet off a tree stand at his farm in Georgia. He had to be airlifted to a hospital, internal bleeding. It might have killed him had he not been able to use his cell phone to alert his family after the fall. So thank goodness he's all right, and he's in the dugout for the Kansas City Royals. The Cardinals defensively with Marcell Ozuna in left, Tommy Pham in center, Tyler O'Neill is in right. And Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Jerko, Garcia, Carpenter, and Martinez along the infield. And Francisco Pena is behind the plate. And once again, a nice round of applause for John Jay. Miles Michaelis, Jim Edmonds has been sensational this year.
Yes, he has. He has been around the zone, throw strikes, did what you're supposed to do and keep your team in the game. And it was too bad. You said he was 1 out away from getting a victory, and we know how hard those victories are to come by at certain times of the year. You just hate to see that happen. And I know Mike was kind of dealing with having to take him out too early, and that was a tough decision for him.
1 ball and 1 strike. This guy's a strike thrower, works quickly. You would love being a great defensive player playing behind Miles Michaelis.
You really can't ask for anything else if you're playing defense. I mean, there's a few things about defense that sets it apart from anything else. 1, it's all about your effort, your own individual effort. And then 2, if you have a guy who is throwing strikes and moving the game along, I mean, it just doesn't get any better.
And the 1-2 swung on and missed as Jay did not get a piece of it. The first strikeout from Michaelis of the night. He could throw all his pitches for strikes, and there's a big bender started out at the shoulders of John Jay and then into the dirt. Arkia drive to success. Michaelis, the strike percentage, the fastball, curveball, and slider, can throw them all for strikes.
Well, you saw it too. He definitely took a lot off of that first breaking ball to John. You see 94, spots the ball around, and you normally there's a timing mechanism with hitters where you know a guy's going to throw the ball 94. You know his breaking ball is going to be in the upper 70s, if not in the 80s. And so there's just some things about baseball that are just hand in hand. You don't need to see it or deal with it. And so when you get that extra slow breaking ball, it can completely fool you.
Jorge Soler, the former Cub. He's hitting .373 on the road. That's 3rd best in all of baseball. Overall, .297. In the hole here with a ball and 2 strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the night for Michaelis.
Did I say 94? I meant 97. Sorry.
Right. Well, he's got that, though, in his back pocket if he wants it.
Well, they're all weapons, right? So adding and subtracting as a pitcher, it's a weapon with even just the fastball. It's how guys like a Lance Lynn can throw 70% fastballs, and it's the 2-seamer, the 4-seamer, a little bit of a takeoff with the run, a little bit extra with the 4-seamer up, out over the plate and down. It's just so many things you can do.
Into the shift, and it goes right past the shift and into right field. That was, I believe, Jerko there. Thought he might dive for it and have a play for it.
Well, that's what happens when you move guys around, and I think Jed Jerko just gave up on this ball thinking that Matt Carpenter was standing right there, and the shift can work both ways, and it can really put your third baseman completely out of position right there, and he's not really used to being that far over, and you move that far to your left and you think someone else can be standing there.
So the cleanup man is Salvador Perez. Outstanding catcher, especially on the defensive side. 4-time Gold Glover. Hits it sharply to short, off of Garcia into shallow left. Moustakas stops at second base. Certainly not an easy play at all here for Greg Garcia.
Now Salvi hits this ball hard and just kind of, that's what you call an in-between hop right there. It's not short enough to walk up and pick it, and not far enough back where you can sit back on it and get a nice hop. It's that in-between hop where you just really don't know how it's going to bounce. And you've watched enough games over your life to see, like, some guys will just pick that ball and kind of like look at it like, wow, I can't believe I just caught that. Now I got to throw it to first, like I knew what I was doing.
Jed Jerko does that a lot. Those hard hit balls, whoop.
Scott Rowland used to tell me when he did that all the time, he would just look at me like, can you believe I just caught that? And we had our own little language going. But the greatest third baseman, one of the greatest third basemen of all times, would in the middle of the game turn around, look at me, and kind of raise his eyebrows like, wow, I can't believe I just made that play, which we used to laugh at on the planes all the time because that would always come up, and I would tell him the same thing all the time too.
He was amazing. Whit Merrifield saw his 12-game hit streak come to a close against the Yankees yesterday. And the 0-1 pitch. Now 0-2. Merrifield hitting .292 this year, and he's been one of the better players for Kansas City. Out of Florence, South Carolina. He could play all over the diamond. 5 different positions a season ago. When I see a guy playing 5 different positions, I think of a National League player as opposed to an American League player because of all the double switches.
Yeah, and definitely, like, you would think growing pains and utility, if that's what I would think about. And so breaking through and finally being able to play every day, or being good enough to play every day, but yet maybe not have a set position. So any way you can get in the lineup is a plus. And I mean, if that was me, I would take however you can get it, right? I mean,
absolutely.
You can't get anywhere in this game by sitting on the bench watching other guys play.
It's a big league job, man. The best of the best in the world. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 outs. It's another big crowd tonight on this Monday evening here in St. Louis. Strikes out the side here in the top of the first. And the Royals strand a pair coming up for the Cardinals. All-star, maybe an MVP candidate, Tommy Pham. Then Matt Carpenter, red hot. And Jose Martinez. No score after a half inning. Pham, but still 3rd in the National League in on-base percentage, 10th in batting at .312. He's in the top spot of Mike Matheny's lineup coming into play tonight, followed by Matt Carpenter and Jose Martinez, Marcelo Zuna, Tyler O'Neill, Jed Jerko, Greg Garcia, Francisco Pena, and the pitcher Miles Michaelis. Ian Kennedy, the starter for the Royals. They have lost each of Kennedy's last 2 starts. He's allowed 14 runs in 10 innings. The Hyundai pitch arsenal. One pitch that really has stood out for him, Jimmy, this year, the changeup. It's the best in baseball in terms of average against, .081.
I mean, that's always nice to have that weapon. And I think sometimes when guys really start to pick it up a notch too, a lot of right-handers won't throw a right-hander a changeup, and that's kind of the newer thing now. And it's tough on right-handed hitters because you don't see enough of it. So when you get a guy like this that throws a changeup to the lefties and the righties, definitely going to improve your chances of having a better pitch and more success, actually, because you're just not used to seeing it. I remember when lefties started throwing me changeups, it started giving me fits a little bit because you just don't see them.
And the 1-2 hit out of play. Luke Weaver in his last start, not only a changeup to a right-handed batter, but he went back-to-back with the changeup. That's really rare. But again, it's starting to become more a part of the repertoire for Weaver and other pitchers in baseball.
Hitting is just a guessing game, so you're just trying to keep him off balance, and you throw a changeup and it might not be a good pitch, and instead of just going right back to the fastball, which everyone in the ballpark knows you're coming with, throw another changeup. What you're trying to do is just get a soft contact ground ball and a quick out.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. And a swing and a miss. A fastball at 94. Royals defensively tonight. In left, Alex Gordon, 5-time Gold Glover. John Jay in center. Jorge Soler in right. Round the horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Moustakas, Escobar, Merrifield, and Dozier. Salvador Perez, 4 Gold Gloves for him, and he's behind the plate. He is one of the hottest hitters right now in baseball. That's Matt Carpenter, 10 for his last 20. 6 doubles in that time. Average has gone from 140 to 194.
Imagine getting that hot and you still look up there and you're hitting below 200.
Get to 200 and then feels a little better, I would assume.
You got to get that one out of there for sure.
Yeah.
As a hitter, you just look up there every day like, oh my gosh, I got to go through another day of this.
He's a career 274 hitter. And incredible numbers against the Royals. There's the average. His on base percentage, 461 against Kansas City in 25 games. So nearly half the time he makes it on base. When you're hot, swing away. 3-0. Carpenter usually doesn't do that. He sees an average of 4.46 pitches per plate appearance.
Well, then he can't swing 3-0 because then it would just mess with his stats. So you just got to stay with it.
Here's a 3-1 pitch to Carpenter. 3-2. From 3-0 to 3-2. The next to Carpenter. Hit out of play. You are so good at picking up various things with a hitter, and I'll be curious, these 3 games you work, you see a little change in Carpenter's swing and trying to go against the shift, which has been a little bit of a success for him here the last couple of days.
Well, I felt like early in the year he was just a little bit longer than normal for him. Not that swing right there, but a lot of the balls that he was fouling off maybe over their third base dugout or down the left field line, where he would do that once in a while in the years past, but a lot of the pitches that he would foul off, he'd foul off straight back, just missing them. I felt like his swing not got slower, just got a little longer, where he's like trying to overemphasize staying through the ball and really getting his arms extended, and sometimes that just gives you a tick off.
Here comes another double, by the way, for Carpenter. Cut off by Soler. And for Matt Carpenter, he's now 11 for 21 with 7 doubles.
I was going to say just a tick off being able to get the ball out in front like so and get the ball into the right center field gap or left center field gap. And there's just like a split-second difference. And sometimes you just try to be too fine and you actually drag your bat through the zone a little bit, and it causes you to hit a lot of balls foul that you normally are used to hitting. And I thought that about a week ago, I think I was doing the pre and post game, and he had an at bat against a lefty. Might have been in Minnesota, and I thought if he's going to get hot, this is when he's going to get hot, because he had a good at bat where he flipped the ball into left field, which he hadn't done all year really. And he had to face a lefty and got the bat head out, and it was quick and short. And then he got another hit. He had 3-hit day, and I thought to myself, okay, he's going to start to go, and I think maybe he has. Yeah, and I stepped away from the TV for about 4 or 5 days, and like you said, he's 11 for 21 or whatever it is, and so hopefully battling against that lefty that day might have straightened him out a little bit.
Batting average now at an even 200 for Matt Carpenter.
Mario Mendoza, baby.
Yep.
Was a coach at line in AAA.
Was he really?
Yeah, I would have never known what the Mendoza line was, and got lucky enough to play with the man and learned all about it.
Did he talk about it?
Yeah, it was awesome. Said you don't want to be there, that's for sure.
I mean, that's one of those things where you're like, well, I know this about the guy, but do I really want to talk to him about it? But apparently he's open about it.
Well, I mean, for all those people that don't know what the Mendoza line is, to 200, and I think somebody kind of nicknamed it that a long time ago. I don't know the whole story, but knowing that he always was hitting either 201, 202, or 199, 198. I had to look it up one time to see where his batting average was, and they were kind of up and down right around the 200 mark, and was nicknamed the Mendoza line. I don't think that many players in the game today know what that is.
Probably not. First time Carpenter has been at 200 or above since all the way back on April 7th. So he's at an even 200, leads the club in doubles now with 13. With runners in scoring position, by the way, Jose Martinez, one of the best in baseball, 17 hits in this spot, third overall in the National League. He's driven in a run in 3 consecutive games. The 3-1 pitch. Full count on Martinez.
Usually see those guys that hit with runners in scoring position. Guys that spray the ball around. See, like Jed Jerko does a good job with runners in scoring position. You said Martinez, Tommy Pham, those guys are hitting well above 300, but all of them hit the ball from line to line. Jed Jerko maybe not so much to right, but in the right center field gap.
We were asked about Jose Martinez before the game, and one of the things that stands out to us, his 2-strike approach, which he picked up just a little. I mean, it was probably 25 hopper through the right side with 2 strikes yesterday, drove in a run, and his plate coverage for such a tall, big man.
He just stays on the ball. He doesn't try to do too much. I think his baseball awareness is so high that at the plate that he knows when he's got a guy he can really go after, and when he's got a guy he needs to shorten up against.
He lines out to Dozier. Marcell Ozuna sat yesterday for the first time since April 22nd. He leads all left fielders in innings played this year. Still searching for that elusive career home run number 100. So 2 outs and a runner at second base. Carpenter stays put, kept in front by Perez. Get the feeling when you watch Ozuna, he's trying to hit the 5-run homer sometimes.
Sometimes I think he does, and I think that he got pitched in early. I think sometimes he gets a little in the pull mode. I was down watching video on him one day, and I saw something last year that you didn't see a whole lot this year. And watch his front foot. He wasn't doing this early in the season. Watch, he gets almost to closed right there, or even. Early in the year, he wasn't getting that to even. His toe tapping. See that tap right there? Well, at that point, when you're looking straight ahead, his feet are almost even. And early in the year, when he was putting that foot down, I think that foot was a little open. And so when he steps back, you watch it here, he stepped back to it way open, and not just a little open.
And what would that do in terms of his hitting?
I just think he never got really closed and square, and he wasn't able to drive pitches that weren't really right down the middle. And so, you know, when you start to struggle, you're right. You try to do so much damage right away that you never really get into your own comfort zone and into your groove. And you're, like you said, you're trying to hit every ball too hard, trying to get it all back at once.
And that's a good sight as well. His walks have been down this year. And now a walk for Ozuna, and it brings in Tyler O'Neill.
That's a huge key right there for Ozuna. Like, I think that other times when you're struggling, you also swing too much. You don't take the borderline pitches because you're not seeing the borderline pitches. You're a little swing happy and you're moving a little bit, so you're just trying to be overly aggressive. And I mean, to get out of a slump, you got to swing, but also you got to kind of back off a little bit and make sure you're seeing the right pitches.
Well, with all the injuries, 7 different players on the DL since May 10th for the Cardinals. it does open up opportunities. And this is one of them right now for Mike Matheny's club, and that's Tyler O'Neill.
They've gotten plenty of opportunities in the last 4 or 5 years to bring guys up and get a good look with the injuries that they've had over the years.
And the 1-0 is hit out to center, and John Jay, he'll make the catch. Cardinals strand a pair, and we head to the second. No score, the I-70 series on Fox Sports Midwest. For the Cardinals here in game number 1. What a bargain he has been, and he's also part of our keys to the game.
We talked about just throwing strikes and pounding the zone. Pounding the zone, he does a good job of up, down, in, and out, and then the breaking ball and a lot of strikes, and that's a great key for him. And then the offense, saw that earlier in the day, we showed the last 3 games with the offense. Just keep it rolling.
And a strike to Hunter Dozier. Cardinals signed Michaelis to a 2-year, $15.5 million deal. That was in December. And he's trying to become the first Cardinals starter to begin his St. Louis career at 6-0. Alan Watson, the last to do that, a lefty you may recall, back in 1993. Ground ball left side, cut off by Jerko. Nice play. The metrics will tell you, if you're into that sort of thing, that Jed Jerko is above average defensive third baseman.
This play is the play that shows me that if he was more aware of where he was out at second base, he makes that play and makes the out. But you can see he's quick enough to get to that ball and makes a nice play.
And a strike to Alex Gordon. Now playing in parts of 11 seasons with the Kansas City Royals. Second overall pick in 2005. The shift is on. See, I like that, and I think more players have to do that. Shift is on. You lay down a bunt, it's a base hit.
Hits are hard to come by, and walks are hard to come by against a guy like this. And so how else do you score runs if you can't get on base? And I think that just getting something started puts pressure on the defense, and it puts the pitcher in the stretch.
Little tapper that rolls just foul. Inches foul.
And if I'm looking at the stats and I'm seeing the fact that the catchers for the St. Louis Cardinals have not thrown anyone out this entire year, yeah, I'm trying to get on base, right?
Isn't that surprising?
Yeah, that's something we just talked about in between innings, and who would have ever thought that that stat would come up with the likes of Yadier Molina behind the plate for the majority of the season so far. But there's still a lot of season to go, and I'm willing to bet he'll have his share.
4 strikeouts for Miles Michaelis. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. In, out, up and down. Every pitch for a strike if he wants it.
This is the kind of guy that if you're facing as a hitter, for me, I'm ready to swing from the first pitch. Because
no question.
I'm up there looking for a pitch that I can handle. I'm not looking in or out or up or down. I'm looking for a fastball to swing at, just like in Little League. And when he throws it, I'm swinging at it because I don't want to have to get to the point at the end of the at-bat where I'm guessing.
Escobar to short, his counterpart. Greg Garcia puts it away. In an 8-pitch inning for Miles Michaelis. They dominated early on in the interleague play between the two clubs. Kansas City got really good. Back-to-back World Series appearances. One of those they won. And the Cardinals have played very well at the Kauffman Stadium, and one game above 500 here in St. Louis. Here's Jed Jerko. And the first pitch grounded to short. And they still get Jerko going down the line.
Tell you what, take a look at Escobar right there. I played with this young man in Milwaukee for a year, and I was impressed. This guy can play, flat out play some defense. He's a pretty good hitter too. You just have to have, I feel like he's one of those Latin players. You have to have another Latin player that will really keep an eye on him and push him, because he's that talented. You can see the arm right there, flat-footed, and you just got to keep him moving, keep him rolling, keep him happy, keep him. He's a good kid. He was so young and so talented.
And a strike on Greg Garcia. He was 1 for 3, drove in a pair yesterday. It was a 27-pitch first inning for Ian Kennedy. Not great command. 13 balls, 14 strikes. Fell behind with 3 batters. Had a 4-pitch walk to Ozuna. A former USC Trojan, drafted by the Yankees 21st overall. Garcia lines it to Moustakas.
In the blink of an eye.
That's the hot corner there.
Didn't even follow that one. Looked up and it was already in his glove.
Right.
I was watching him swing. That go down as a L5 in your book?
I put 5, I circle it, and then I put line out exclamation
That's
point.
not a pop-up.
No. So 2 outs. Nobody on, and Francisco Pena back-to-back 3-hit games against the Phillies over the weekend. He made his major league debut with the Royals in 2014. Played in 9 games with Kansas City. Got his first major league hit in a Royals uniform. His dad was a longtime manager in Kansas City, Tony Pena. 0-2. I know you're very close to Yadier Molina. Have you had a chance to visit with Yadi since he's been out?
Not face to face. A lot of texting. Was checking on him. He said he was doing pretty good right away, which was a nice surprise because, you know, everything I read kind of said that he was going to be really down for a while and not even being able to move for a week, and that wasn't the case.
7-pitch inning for Ian Kennedy on a beautiful night here in the Gateway City. National leaders in cancer by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. And try the new Cholula Battery Jack, part of the Battery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. Ian Kennedy, then John Jay, and Jorge Soler. Mentioned that Ian Kennedy went to USC. Been drafted by the Yankees. Previously been drafted by the Cardinals, but did not sign. There have been some great pitchers come out of USC. Randy Johnson, Mark Pryor, Tom Seaver, Barry Zito, but yet the all-time leader in wins at USC, your former teammate Randy Flores.
I was going to say don't forget Randy Flores, and I was kind of half-heartedly joking, but I knew he had some stats there.
Now Randy is running the drafts for the Cardinals, and St. Louis this year they'll select 19th overall.
A lot of pressure.
Detroit will have the first pick overall, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your former teammate.
A lot of pressure to have that job. I wouldn't want it.
There is a lot of pressure.
He's probably wanting to puke right now. He's listening to us. He's one of the best.
Here's a 2-2. Foul back. Kennedy, a 129 career hitter with 1 home run. Royals come in having lost 7 of 8 and 9 of 11 overall. And the 2-2 pitch. The first 3-ball count of the night for Michaelis, and it's against the pitcher. Go figure. That one caught Pena maybe on his toe, foot. He's hopping around. That hurts.
We were facing Greg Maddux, and it was about June, and they said he hadn't walked a hitter all year. And so I got up there in maybe the first at bat, and he had me 3-2, and I thought, he's going to throw me a strike right here. Swung at a changeup in the dirt.
Still hadn't walked a man.
Still hadn't walked a man. I'm sure he used that to his advantage. Probably threw a ball over my head, and I would have swung.
Miles Michaelis has not walked a batter at home all year. That's well over 90 batters he has faced. And a base hit for Kennedy, but why not get him at first? The throw there is not in time. The Cardinals will take a look at it, and you may have a 9-3 putout.
That is not. First of all, I'm going to say my eyes told me he was safe, but that is not what you want on your resume as a pitcher.
No.
It happens, though. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. If he gets this ball out of his glove a little bit quicker, he is out, but he is not out on this one. To be honest with you, not picking on him, he could have been a lot shallower. And if he is, he's out for sure.
I don't think I've ever seen in Major League Baseball a 9-3.
I think I'm going to have to say I have.
I mean, I know it's happened, but
I feel like I've seen it in Wrigley, of all places.
You would have to think it's a pitcher, you're playing shallow, and it's just a ball that's stung to right. And a pitcher, obviously, that maybe not used to running, doesn't run hard.
I could see it happening
for granted.
On turf, especially.
Yes. I think of Jose Bautista, who was just released by the Atlanta Braves. When he was in right field, he would do it all the time.
Good right fielders that take the chance probably can do it all the time, like you said. But you got to have kind of the guts to take that chance. I'd take that chance for sure.
Sure. Why not?
Awesome.
You never had one of those? For or against?
Not an 8-3. That would be good too. I've been shallow enough to have an 8-3, but.
And it's pulled foul off the bat of John Jay. 2-2. John, his last 12 games batting .346 with 8 runs scored. So Ned Yost moving him to the top of the lineup. Spent a good portion of his career right here in St. Louis.
He's done a really nice job for everyone that he's played for.
He's a winning ball player.
Winning ball player. He's a winning teammate. He's a great guy. He's a classy guy, and he plays the game. Just plays, you know, and he keeps the clubhouse in order. Not afraid to stand up and talk.
The 3-2 pitch to Jay. Fights it off and a base hit into left. Kennedy will stop at second. And back-to-back singles, 4 hits on the night for the Royals. How many times did we see this swing and this type of single off the bat of John Jay?
Crazy thing too is he's been around a little bit now, and he just keeps playing and he keeps hitting. Keeps playing on good teams.
I wonder, as the Royals go south, and this will be a tough year for Kansas City. I don't think there's any other way to, you can't sugarcoat it. It will be a long year, but I wonder if you're a championship club, if you take a flyer on John Jay down the stretch.
You would have to take a flyer on him if you're a playoff team. I think he's a great addition. He's been to the World Series. He's been through the playoffs. He's played a lot of years.
Double play ball, the turn, 5-4-3. So Kansas City, it's a different looking club than the one we've seen last handful of years. Window is open, and now it's closed for the time being. It was a long run of losing baseball, unfortunately for their fan base. 86 to 2013, the winning percentage the worst in baseball. 14 and 15. Obviously very good club that went to 2 World Series and won 1. Here's another player that turned down the qualifying offer, Mike Moustakas, which is roughly $17 million, and then did not hook up with another team and signed back with a 1-year deal with Kansas City, greatly reduced. But he'd be another one that certainly many teams would look at. He leads their club in home runs with 10, and he's driven in 31.
Got to be hard to turn down $17 million. More money than I've ever made in 1 year.
Lance Lynn did it. Moustakas did it. And that's a foul ball. And from their point of view, they're thinking, well, I'm coming off a big year. Moustakas set the single season home run record for the Royals a season ago. Becomes a free agent. He's thinking, well, maybe the Angels want me. That didn't happen. They went to Cozart. 2-time All-Star, comeback player of the year, and tremendous power. Inside, 2-2. He had a base hit to right first time up. The 2-2 pitch. Watch out. Oh boy. It's in the Cardinal dugout. Everybody seems to be okay. Well, that's scary there. That was an absolute rocket hit off the bat of Moustakas.
Just think if you're not paying attention for 1 split second. I'm amazed that that ball doesn't hit somebody, at least on a carom.
I'm amazed that more players don't get hit in the dugout.
That's what that's, you have no time to react right there.
The 2-2 pitch. In the air to center, but Pham makes the catch. Royals strand a runner, their 3rd of the night. Hey, Cardinal fans, if you can't catch a game on TV, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream the Cardinals. It's presented by T-Mobile. The brats on the grill. What a beautiful night for baseball here in St. Louis. Jim Edmonds is with us. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes as well. Miles Michaelis will lead it off, followed by Tommy Pham and Matt Carpenter. Cardinals trying to get to Ian Kennedy. He has had his struggles against St. Louis and then some. 3-6. His ERA against the Redbirds 7.41. So if you go back to 1913, there have been 651 pitchers that have made 8 or more starts against the Cardinals, which includes Kennedy. His ERA is the 8th worst of those 651. He's had some long nights at this ballpark. He's been with the Yankees, Diamondbacks, San Diego, and now in his 3rd year with the Royals. Went 5-13 a season ago. Michaelis looks at a strike. We're underway in the home half of the 3rd. And a fly ball lifted into shallow right. Jorge Soler with the catch, and there's one away. Brings in Tommy Pham. David Eckstein in the house tonight. World Series MVP of 2006. He and his lovely wife Ashley are here. Ashley has a new book. She's an actress, for those that don't know. David, one of the kindest, nicest gentlemen in the sport. Came to St. Louis after the loss of Edgar Renteria. Fans are thinking, uh-oh, you lose Renteria, what's going to happen? And this guy in 3 years became a terrific player. Won a couple of championships as a starting shortstop, both the Angels and the Cardinals. Your former teammate.
He's just one of those guys that went out there and did it. Didn't care how he got it done, he just got it done.
You know, he is.
Might be one of the cheapest guys I've ever met, too.
Oh, by the way, this was one of the great moments in his career, and that was caught by Tom Mee, our director tonight. J-Rod in the dugout as Pham hits it down the right field line. Pujols grabs his bat. Maybe we can re-rack it and show it. But Pujols grabs his bat with David up with the bases loaded, looks at it, throws it down, and says, "You're not going to need it." And points. But we later found out he told him, "You don't need it because David's going to come through."
He always did.
That was great.
He had to be that guy you hate to see come to the plate with the game on the line.
He's a gnat.
Winning run on 3rd or something. Yeah. How many times did you see him bunt for a game-winning hit, pass ball for a game-winning run, bloop single, grand slam?
Strike on Pham. You may forget David started 1 for 11 in the World Series, and then 8 for his next 22. He had 3 doubles in Game 5.
They took the MVP right away from me. Those guys in Detroit, they were just, I think he paid them off. He got guys slipping and falling and unbelievable. So much fun.
I think, though, that grand slam might be my favorite moment. It was a Sunday afternoon at Busch Stadium, too. And Albert says, "You don't need it."
He just threw it
down.
And you know what's really funny is that little hole down there. It's all cement, and if you threw a bat down there, it echoes so loud, and you could hear going clink, 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 clink. You don't need it, bro.
Get out of here with that. I asked David a couple of days ago. We had the chance to visit over the phone. I said, "Is your wife still a bigger fan of Jim Edmonds than you?" He said, "I think so."
That's why he's hiding from me today. He doesn't want to have to go through it.
David Eckstein.
What a great group of people, that Eckstein family. Just one notch above the Passmores.
There's a base hit into left. The Passmore family reunion is here tonight. They have never missed the I-70 series. You got the chance to meet them before the game, and that's what you were telling me. You talk about a passionate family.
A
They're
group
always here.
of people, too.
Right. Good to have the Passmore family reunion here.
Go back to Matt Carpenter. You look at this swing right here, and this is just another swing that doesn't look great, but this is Matt Carpenter. He waits, and he's just throwing the bat out there, knowing that if he can just get the little bit of the barrel on that ball, there's no one standing over there. And that's, hitting is like that sometimes. You let the ball get so deep and you can react. It's almost in slow motion, and those are the things that keep you moving and keep that average going up.
Jose Martinez. Remember, Martinez was on the 40-man roster for the Kansas City Royals, and then was knocked off their 40-man to clear space for Whit Merrifield. Became a minor league free agent, and the Cardinals jumped on it. Not often you get a minor league free agent and he's batting third or fourth in a lineup for a team that you would think would go to postseason play or certainly have a chance.
Well,
what a great pickup it's been.
You're right, and everyone knew he could swing the bat. People were worried about him playing defense, and you know, you have to have a place for him to play. Sometimes guys like this get stuck playing behind someone in their position.
Well, you bring up a good point. You think about the outfield that they had. You know, with Kane in center, he's not going to play center field. Gordon was entrenched in left field, and Hosmer, if you thought about first base, he was going nowhere.
Yep.
So it was very tough to find him a spot. Matt Carpenter now a 6-game hitting streak. Average has jumped from 140 to 206 in those 6 days. He's at first. And a pitch in the dirt.
I think if you were playing shortstop for the Yankees between about 2005 in AAA to about 2013, 14, not a chance to get to the big leagues.
If you were playing center field in St. Louis for about 8 years, that wasn't going to happen. Or first base for over a decade.
A couple decades. Well, then with Mark, and then right to Albert.
The 2-2. High fly ball lifted down the right field line and out of play. MLB At Bat, your #1 Cardinals app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Home screen icons, features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, more. Download MLB At Bat today.
We talk about being stuck behind people, but that's why, guys, when you get called up and when you get an opportunity to play, you got to play hard. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to hit 500 for 3 days. You got to go up there and impress someone, because there's always somebody watching. It's the same thing when you're in high school and college.
And a base hit into center field. Carpenter stopping at second. Well, you come to the ballpark, you got your beer, your soda, your nachos, your hot dogs, and sometimes you got to wear it. See, the tough aspect of that is that you have to wear it, and then you don't get the souvenir.
It's got the wrong color Cardinals shirt on.
I mean, at least you got to get the souvenir,
awesome.
right?
It's my favorite part of being up here, watching the people go after foul balls.
Something else. Here's Marcell Ozuna. And a strike.
Back to my point, what I'm saying is, even if someone gets hurt and you get a chance to play, you got to go for it. And when you're in high school or college and scouts are coming to watch your best player, you can be the second and third best player, and if you play well and impress people, you're going to get a chance to play somewhere, somehow. You can never forget about that. Someone's always watching. You're not playing for that team. You're playing for every team.
We talk about that in spring training all the time. So many scouts at the games. Rosters unsettled.
Too many people get focused in on making the big leagues with the team that they're in, or playing for the college that they want to go to, instead of just saying, if I just get an opportunity to play somewhere, somehow, and then go to the next level and then the next level. and then the next A ball, and then double A, and then triple A. If you can keep moving, more people are going to see you, and if you just keep opening up eyes, you're going to get a chance to play in the big leagues.
'21st pitch of the inning. Coming up for Kennedy, 54 on the night. And the 2-1 pitch, a chance to hammer one here. Base hit into right field. Here comes Carpenter. The throw, no throw by Soler. He bobbled it. And Ozuna to second. 1-0 Cardinals. RBI number 22, Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks here for Ozuna.
See him how closed he stayed right there. He stayed on the ball. This is it. Solid swing, base hit to right. Something he wasn't doing early on in the season. It's impressive too when you watch. I don't know if you were watching, but see how fast he got from first to second. He can run for a big guy.
Ozuna gets the RBI. It's a base hit, then an error on Soler, his third of the year. Here's Tyler O'Neill. Right now there's some competition in that outfield with the emergence recently here of O'Neill. Homered in back-to-back games. Home run, 3 hits, 2 runs scored yesterday. So Tyler O'Neill, his first ever big league homer that tied the game up Saturday 6-6. And then yesterday some insurance back to back. And how about how he hit that ball with basically one arm?
Change up down and just stayed down with his legs and stayed behind the ball, and it's a good swing. Listen, here's another guy right there. If you see him in person, a lot of people judge the body type, and he's a big bulky kid. You wouldn't think he was as athletic as he is, and people don't give him a chance. Well, what happens? Comes up here, he gets into the big leagues, gets a chance to play, and then now look. Now everyone's talking about there's a balance for playing time.
The 2-1 lifted out to deep right. He's done it again! Into the bullpen and right. 3 consecutive games with a home run. And that one, a major blast into right field. Tyler O'Neill, goodness.
On command, Danny. Just talking about it right here. This is a bomb the other way. This ball is up high in the air.
That is ridiculous.
And deep and deep. Stay behind the ball, hit it on the barrel. He's so strong. Having any fun yet, Tyler?
Wow.
No better feeling right there.
Talk about power. My goodness. The last Cardinal to homer in 3 straight was Randall Grichuk a year ago. He did it in 4 straight. But how high he hit that to the opposite field. Something I noticed in spring training, he pulled off a ton of pitches, probably trying to show the Cardinals what he's all about, but now he's using all fields.
Yeah, like I said, you get a bad read on someone, you got to see him play at this level or see him play, and you're right, you try to impress. There's a fine line, right? Try to impress and just go out there and play your game and play hard, but to be able to hit the ball the other way that high and that far, that's impressive.
Yeah. I can't think of a right-handed batter that has hit one that high, that far to the opposite field of this ballpark. Man, oh man, is that some power.
It's kind of like left-handed power right there. Usually only lefties hit the ball the other way that high and hard.
And Jerko pops it up into shallow center, racing in. John Jay, that'll drop as the second baseman, Merrifield, had no idea where that baseball was.
Watch this replay. This ball could almost hit him in the head. John Jay playing deep with Jerko, got some pop. Got a bad jump with the big swing, and it's the one thing about when you have to take your eye off the ball. Sometimes it's tough to pick it back up.
It's 5 consecutive hits for the Cardinals. We take a look at the Kubota power stats. That's Cal Eldred, who is a pitching coach now with Kansas City. But the power stats, there you go. Home runs allowed. The Cardinals have given up the fewest. Kansas City has allowed the most, and it's probably some long nights for a good friend of ours, Cal Eldred.
One of my favorites. It was no nonsense guy. Tough on the mound, as tough as anyone.
One of the nicest men in the game too. You know, he told me about his surgery, which was basically a screw in his elbow. He was told he'll never pitch again. And do you remember how good he was when he came up with the White Sox?
Yep.
Boy, was he good. And he just started playing catch one day, and he and Mike Matheny are very close. And he said, you know what? My arm's not hurting anymore. And he became a bullpen guy for the Cardinals. Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Greg Garcia. It was last Tuesday for Ian Kennedy. A start against the Rays, 6-5 loss, gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. And the 0-2 pitch to Garcia. Tapped foul. O'Neill's home run was hit 122 feet high, 388 feet long. And there's that changeup, a good one, a strikeout of Garcia. Second in the inning, 3 tonight. The home run hit by Tyler O'Neill. A curtain call as well, 4-0 Redbirds. From his rehab start over the weekend. Sensational. More on that. Let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, the Cards announcing today that Reyes will make his final rehab start with Memphis on Thursday, and then he's slated for the Cardinals starting rotation. We had Alex on the pregame show. He told me I feel more comfortable on the mound than I could have ever hoped for. I'm able to execute pitches down in the zone. I feel like my stuff right now will play anywhere. I asked him how difficult it is to focus on his last rehab start when he's about to make it all the way back from a lengthy and difficult rehab process. Reyes told me, just going through what I did last year, it taught me the importance of being patient. But Alex Reyes almost back, Danny.
That's good to see. How about Carlos Martinez? Is he almost back?
He's dealing with that lat issue. Carlos threw some flat ground today. He told me he is pain-free. Michael Gurr says they'll see how Carlos does with his throwing program and then try to figure out what's next. But the fact that Carlos is pain-free, Dan, very good sign.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. And a strikeout of Sal Perez. And Michaelis is up to 5.
Pretty good pitch right here, right in the middle. That's how we may be looking, breaking ball or changeup, but go ahead, here you go, and hit it. Oh, man. You don't see that too often out of a pretty good hitter.
No. That's hit out of play.
That's the feeling of as you're a hitter and you have no idea what's going on and you're kind of thinking, okay, what is he going to throw me here? And he starts to let go of it and you say to yourself, oh man, I hope this isn't a strike.
That's when you're in between, right?
Yeah. That is not going to go over well. That's your thought process.
And it hit him, so Merrifield hit by the pitch. They'll appeal and ask if it was a swing.
I was going to say. Did he say no already?
I think you're waiting for Pena to ask if it's a swing.
Ooh, it's close. This is a tough thing on a hitter too. Well, good call, but there's nothing worse than having that ball come in on you and you literally can't get out of the way, so your body turns and the bat comes through the zone and you get called a strike. Strike and a bruise.
Ouch. So Merrifield is on base with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Hunter Dozier rounded out to 3rd. Back in the 2nd inning, and he's 0 for 1. He was the 8th overall pick in 2013. Mark Appel was the #1 pick in the country that year. He was a pitcher, never panned out. My partner just looked at me and said, who? Mark Appel.
Oh yeah.
Chris Bryant went #2 overall to the Cubs. The Cardinals 19th overall pick in 13 selected Marco Gonzalez, who was traded for Tyler O'Neill.
The #1 pick in front of Chris Bryant had to have some talent in order to go in front of that young man. That kid can play. Or somebody really messed that one up. I'm going to go with probably B.
Well, he had issues physically. Never put it together. Clearly. Double play ball. 6-4-3 on the double play. The Cardinals have turned 2 double plays tonight. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Join us for a rich kickoff this summer weekend. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of June. And 30,000 fans 16 and older take home the Yachty Tumbler, courtesy of Apple Vacations. Cardinals.com/promotions. Francisco Pena, Miles Michaelis, and Tommy Pham. The Cardinals yesterday got tremendous pitching. You think about the youth of this team. Tyler O'Neill, by the way, he's 22. Home run yesterday, home run now in 3 consecutive games, including tonight. As Pena grounds it to short. As Pena cannot avoid the tag. There's Jack Flaherty. 22-year-old, went 7 2/3, gave up 2 hits. He strikes out 13. He's the 13th pitcher this year to strike out 13. But he tied a Cardinals rookie record, and boy, was he sensational. And then after Jack Flaherty, the baseball world still talking about Jordan Hicks, who hit 105 miles per hour on the gun. Flaherty was sensational.
Let me tell you how fast that Jordan Hicks thing got around. I am downstairs in my living room watching TV, family room, and my son is upstairs playing Fortnite with 3 of his friends, and he comes sprinting down the stairs and tells me Jordan Hicks just hit 105 on the gun. And I'm like, how do you know? You don't have a TV in your room. He says, it's on Instagram already.
Now I'm going to take that a little further, because you and your prep just shocked you weren't watching us.
Well,
Jimmy.
I was on baby duty.
Oh.
Wife duty. More importantly, the wife is getting a little uncomfortable, so I'm part waiter, part diaper changer.
The twins are close.
They're getting close. I was playing pool boy. Let's see what else. I was blowing off the dirt off the driveway. And yeah, the Cardinals game was on and I was missing it. And I was missing a little bit of history with 105 miles an hour.
That's unfortunate. But you got caught up thanks to Instagram.
Thanks to Landon and his friends.
That's funny. 4th strikeout for Kennedy, and now back to the top of the lineup, Tommy Pham. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
But that's what you get when you have 3 kids playing games on one TV. Someone's got to be on the Instagram watch. So
it's very important. And a slider low and outside. One ball and 1 strike. One and 2 the count.
That's that pitch, Danny, we talk about. That's the pitch that gives a hitter a fit. You can see he doesn't really even want to flinch at it because he thinks it's going to end up inside, and so it starts to give that little shoulder shake like, uh-oh, I got to hit that pitch, and that just starts messing with your mind. I was thinking about what we were talking about earlier. I don't know if there's a tougher mental mind game in sports than standing in that batter's box, and I'm going to have to say it rivals golf. And golf is a mental grind to play it at any level, let alone at the highest level, and you're all by yourself. You're all by yourself in that batter's box, and everything that you're dealing with is all in your head.
3-2 pitch. I've said this, and I don't know if you would agree, but we always say, well, baseball's a team sport. But is it really? I mean, it's you against the pitcher. It's you fielding a ground ball, making a catch, the proper throw. In many ways, it's an individual sport.
Played as a team,
yes,
basically, because I think when you talk about a team sport as baseball, it's just buying into a concept. But yeah, you're out there on your own. What team is behind you other than catching the ball when you're standing on the mound in front of 50,000 people? Everyone's staring right at you. Same with the batter's box.
And the 3-2 again, and Pham strikes out. So he is struck out for the third time. When we come back, one of the greatest catches you'll ever see. Oh my goodness. You had some dandies here in St. Louis. Is this your best?
Hard to say
against the
no on
Kansas
that
City
one, right?
Royals?
I didn't even know how to react. And I think the guy who called that play was the man right there on the right.
Steve Physiak. Yep. Rex Hudler there on the left.
The wonder dog on the left. Little QT sponsor in the background. That's an awful big Diet Coke.
Who says it's
soda.
a diet?
Yeah, it's true.
Also, who says it's soda? Here's a ground ball into the shift. That's Garcia, and he'll make the play. Is that your best catch?
You know what? I mean, I would have to say yes. People would think I was crazy if I said no, but I think there's a few others that are the same kind of degree of difficulty, and basically the degree of difficulty for me was just making the effort. I mean, who would have thought you're going to jump up on a wall and not be looking at the ball and end up in the right place at the right time and
like
be
the
able
one
to
in
turn around
Cincinnati.
and catch? It's 3 of those in a week in Cincinnati. 3 different series.
The catch you made in Cincinnati.
Back-to-back nights.
Izzy's on the mound. LaRue at the plate. That's the greatest catch I've ever seen in person.
And then I did it the night before, and then I did it the series before when Cincinnati was in town here. But that's why I say, like, think about jumping up on the wall at a pretty good, I mean, I timed it, but at a pretty good sprint, and you have to look up and catch it. I mean, I think they all have their place. But yeah, I mean, I'd be crazy not to say that wasn't the best for me.
I recorded an interview for a future podcast, and you told me though that, and I asked you about that catch and the one in Cincinnati. You said one in Winter Bowl might have been even better though.
I actually, so funny you said that. I had a guy, back to Instagram messaged me and asked me if I would do something for Venezuela because the catch I made there is still considered one of the greatest catches in Winter League history.
And it was similar to the one that we just saw.
It's the exact same play. I have the message on my phone. I need to screenshot it and show it to you.
Here's the one in Cincinnati.
And we were talking in a text message back and forth, and the guy says to me, "Yeah, but you slid under the chain link fence in Venezuela." When I was diving for it.
This one you went over the wall. Unbelievable.
That was, I mean, that was just trying to get a rise out of you up here in the booth.
Oh, you got plenty there. I was screaming. I couldn't believe it.
Was that the he did it again? That was the
Yes.
second night in a row.
Yes.
Because the funny story is, I'm sitting in the hotel bar with Izzy, watching the replay from that was the day before, watching the highlight of the game, and I had done the same thing. And he says, "How come you never do that for me?" And I said, "Hopefully I don't have to." It was the next night, like within the first 2 pitches.
It's incredible. A 1-2-3 inning for Miles Michaelis. You can see it all beginning June 14th on Fox and FS1, the World Cup, and it's coming your way. School not quite out yet, but still really good crowds here in St. Louis. Here's Matt Carpenter to lead it off. He has doubled to right center. That was an 8-pitch at bat. And then a single to left in the third. In that inning, in the third inning, in which the Cardinals picked up their 4 runs, Ian Kennedy got the first 2. And then the Cardinals had 5 consecutive hits. And right in the middle of them was Tyler O'Neill in a big 3-run blast.
You're still impressed with that homer, huh? You don't really get super excited about a lot of stuff, and I saw you get a little excited about that.
I tried to call it.
It was kind
excited.
of well, I mean,
always call
I'm talking about afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're still talking about it. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to think of guys, you know, right-handed batters that would hit home runs like that. I mean, Ron Gant was a guy here that could do that.
You know, that's kind of, if you think quickly, what that swing, that kind of long swing with that power. Mark Reynolds.
Another one, yeah.
That hits the ball that far the other way or up the middle. I mean, he's not like a huge name, but he's got that kind of power where he hit the ball.
Power.
Yeah, Matt Holliday a little bit. He hit more of a line drive.
His were line drives. Yep. I mean, I mean,
when Matt Holliday used to play for the Rockies, I would just go stand out there by the Phillips 66 sign and just wait for the ball to come out my way.
Matt Holliday still not signed, and Carpenter lifts a high fly ball into right. Soler calling off Jay for the catch.
You see that swing right there? In my opinion, that's the swing that put him in a slump, because he's so close, and he was hitting the ball in the barrel, but he was, that ball, not particularly the way he hit it, but he was hitting balls deep into the gap, and they were getting caught, and he was just missing everything. But it's a perfect swing. Everything's right. he was just missing. And for him, I'm willing to bet that he tried to press a little bit, try to do a little extra, and it took him a while to figure out that sometimes as a hitter you go the wrong direction. You try to do more instead of less.
Here's Jose Martinez with 1 out and nobody on.
That's why I think those lefty on lefty at bats are really good for a struggling left-handed hitter. Kind of get you to really open your eyes, shorten your swing, really pay attention, and probably lock in a little bit more than you normally would.
I mentioned Mike Reynolds. He just picked up a job. And that's hit sharply to third, knocked down by Moustakas. Plenty of time to make the play. It was such an odd offseason for guys like Moustakas and Reynolds and Holiday and his former teammate from Moustakas, Greg Holland. And you wonder if that will carry over to the offseason of 2018 going into 19. I don't think so. I think players are going to say, look, if I've been offered a deal, I'm taking
it.
it.
That's for sure. I think, though, that it's really funny that baseball warned us back early in the first strike and lockouts and stuff and said, this is what they're trying to do.
The base hit into center for Ozuna, on base for the 3rd time. 2 hits and a walk.
Really surprised that the players union didn't throw out, at least I haven't heard of it, a little bit of the collusion talk when you see that many people stuck, because they've done it in the past where the players association don't agree with. How is it possible that every owner can take a pass on this player and that player and players that are legit?
Well, there was some talk of that even this offseason.
I was
Pirates
cleaning the pool and changing diapers, so I was paying attention.
The Marlins. So 2 outs and a runner at first, and Tyler O'Neill, 3-run homer back in the 3rd inning. And a strike. There it is. Nissan drive of the game. 122 feet high. Into the bullpen of St. Louis in a 3-run shot. His 2nd curtain call in as many days. And he rips this one down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Ozuna racing to 3rd. Oquendo waving him in. O'Neill has driven in 4 tonight. And it's 5-0 Cardinals. Tyler O'Neill.
So you like that homer to right. I like this swing right here. This is a fastball, unhittable fastball that he can pull his hands in. Got to get him a tighter helmet. And he yanks the ball down in the left field corner, because that right there is a tough at bat and a good swing to be able to keep that ball fair.
All the runs for the Cardinals tonight have been scored with 2 outs. And Jerko hits it softly to short. Tyler O'Neill has driven in 4 of the 5. Favor of the Cardinals. We saw 105 on the gun yesterday from Jordan Hicks, and with more on that, always digging deep, reporting for us, the one and only Jim Hayes.
Well, it's a pleasure, Danny. You know, Jordan Hicks was the talk of baseball today after hitting 105 miles an hour in the radar gun twice yesterday against Odubel Herrera. I was talking to Mike Maddox about Hicks and hitting 105. Maddox told me it looked like a comet coming out of his hand. I couldn't believe it. He said what's more impressive is the movement. He's so tough to square up. That's why guys are shortening their swing, just trying to make contact, and it's soft contact. After the game, Hicks told me he might have given Herrera a little bit extra because he took so long to get in the batter's box. Jordan didn't like that.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I guess it was the day before, and Jimmy, we clocked him stepping out of the box late in the game as John Jay gets a piece and stays alive. He was taking 45 seconds between pitches to get back in the batter's box. And the point is, Major League Baseball will fine the players for doing that. However, when you have guys making a lot of money, $500 is nothing. And unfortunately, but if you start calling a strike on him and costing your teammates get on you, there's pressure to get in the box. And I think that's where it's going to have to go. If a pitcher's taking a long time, there it is, ball one, ball two. For a hitter, there's a strike. As Jay hits it on the ground to Garcia.
I'm kind of the old school version of that, though. So if you're a young player and if you're not really good, if you're taking too long inside the box or outside the box, you got the entire dugout screaming at you. And so that'll get your attention in a hurry.
Herrera's leading the league in hitting.
Yeah, but I love the fact that Jordan Hicks said he got it, like he riled himself up a little bit. He said, here's one of the best hitters in the game, and he's taken a long time, so I'm pumped myself up, and I'm gonna let it go right here. It was a great interview after the game. When you were driving home, I was actually watching it. So
well, I DVR everything, and I watched it 8 times, so I know it verbatim.
It got me 7 times. I saw it in real life once, and I was done. But I liked it. I liked the honesty. I love that basically he didn't issue any kind of challenge to anyone. It was a challenge himself to be really good against a good player.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Soler. Curveball, and he struck him out. That's 7 tonight for Miles Michaelis. Look at the movement on this pitch. Chevy Fox tracks.
Good breaking ball right there, and there you go in that 80-mile-an-hour range with just taking enough off, getting some good downward bite. The one thing that impressed me about the 104, 105 was the one ball that almost took the catcher's glove off. I mean, that ball ran 2 feet. How do you get movement like that?
First pitch strikes for Michaelis, 19 of 21 tonight. Our BJC Healthcare difference maker. 0-1 pitch, and I'm with you. That's the thing that when I watch Hicks, the movement and then the lack of strikeouts really surprises me too.
Well, I think Jimmy was on to something about short. Most guys know that he's going to be throwing 100. You start to shorten up, and I think sometimes guys that throw the hardest have that really good long arm action, and sometimes they're easier to see, which will allow guys to put the ball in play even though it's 102 to 105, whatever. But you still do see the ball when it gives you enough timing, but there's no balls that are being put in play hard.
Popped up on the 2-1 pitch. Pena throws the mask. Moustakas walks to the dugout, and Miles Michaelis is locked in.
off for heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Beautiful shot there of the Busch Stadium crowd on this Monday night. A lot of red, as you might imagine. A little sprinkling of that royal blue. Kansas City faithful made the trek from KC to St. Louis. Here's Greg Garcia. Inning number 6 rolls in, bottom half. Garcia's lined out to third and also struck out. Oh, and 2. And time called by Greg Garcia. Why don't you go down there and sign that jersey? Make a fan happy, Jimmy. I'll let you go for an inning or two if you need to.
That's all right.
You sure?
Yeah, my next door neighbor's son calls those antiques.
Is that right?
He saw a bobblehead in an antique store, so now I'm an antique.
You let that kid back in your house?
9-year-old boy. I want to give it to him once in a while, but no, he's a good kid.
Garcia's saying he's okay. He said, I'm fine, I'm fine. Didn't see anything odd with that, but boy, the Cardinals used the DL an awful lot. Man, oh man.
Maybe a little jumpy now. I think he swung at that changeup and it was a little awkward.
And that's upstairs to Garcia. And now the 2-2 pitch to Greg Garcia. The Cardinals leading 5-0. Full count. It's Garcia here, then Pena and Michaelis. And it's a base hit into left field. 9th hit for the Cardinals. Saturday, June 2nd, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a Cardinals Saturday alternate jersey. Embroidered front logo courtesy of Scott Credit Union. Also prior to the game, it is photo day here at the ballpark. Part of the Ritz kickoff to summer weekend. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Pitch number 100 here for Ian Kennedy. And it's a ball. Royals carry 6 right-handers, 2 lefties in their pen. And the 1-0 pitch. Tap foul by Pena. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kansas City has lost 9 of their past 11. The starters in that time frame 1-7. Collectively, their ERA is near 10. And a swing and a miss by Pena. Strikeout number 6. I'm going to check that. Strike 2. Sorry, Francisco. You know, that happens sometimes, Jimmy.
What
you just get so caught up in the moment. Emotional excitement.
Kind of lose track.
And I lost track. Now the 1-2 pitch.
Happens a lot up here.
Yes, it does.
Mostly on the right side of the booth.
We have a lot of fans that, they make their way in and out of the booth, say hello. We always enjoy that. 2-2 the count. And it's into right. This may be fair. Ooh, just foul. Jason Adam, right-hander, pitched an inning yesterday against the Yankees, gave up a couple of runs, is throwing in the Kansas City bullpen. Where's number 50? Well, that's not a good sign. Greg Garcia leaves the game, and now Jairo Munoz is in for St. Louis as a pinch runner. Now the 2-2 pitch to Pena. A little bit low. Cardinals know DeYoung is going to miss considerable time. They've used Jerko, they've used Garcia, and now Jairo Munoz will play shortstop for St. Louis. Just hope it's something not serious. You have a 5-run lead. Maybe a smart move by Garcia to get treatment right now.
A little ice, whatever is bugging him, hot spot, get it cooled off.
Runner goes on the 3-2, and it's hit in the air to right field. Catch made by Jay. The Phillips 66 ticket vouchers, they are back, and they're better than ever. Fill up at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more. Get a voucher for up to 50% off. Up to 8 tickets to a Cardinals home game. Visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. And a strike.
I'm watching Ian Kennedy throw, and he's got pretty good stuff. It's not crazy overpowering. Good breaking ball. Changeup's been good. Just one of those guys, especially tonight, when he's made mistakes, he's made a few of them in a row. He's made a mistake down the middle of the plate in consecutive at-bats.
Michaelis gets the bunt down. The sacrifice good, advancing Munoz to second.
You know, you kind of watch. He's not super overpowering, but he's always down and out and around the zone, and then next thing you know, one's right down the middle. That'll hurt you.
Third sacrifice for Michaelis on the year. With the top of the lineup coming up, Ned Yost will go to his bullpen. Tommy Pham coming up, who's 0 for 3. Get a tone for that. We'll find out in just a moment. transmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. This is our Chevy call to the pen, Jason Adam. 6th appearance. And he comes in with a runner at second. And the batter, Tommy Pham. And time called. If you're wondering, the report that Jimmy told us about, the 105 on the gun, was not the hardest pitch ever thrown. There's actually StatCast evidence, if you will, which has been around for a few years. The hardest was Aroldis Chapman. I think his was like 105.3 or 4, something like that. Here's a 1-0. Our Hyundai pitch arsenal on Jason Adam.
See already he's got a good fastball. First pitch 96, so you always get a little ramp up as you go to the bullpen. Something that as a hitter I didn't like. You don't want to be the guy that is coming to the plate when they take the starter out, especially after you've faced him a few times. But maybe in this case, Tommy Pham with 3 strikeouts. Maybe he's welcoming a new challenge.
So 2 balls and 1 strike. Tommy Pham 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. The next to the Cardinals center fielder. Out of play. Three and 2 the count. Fouled back. And a strikeout of Pham. 0 for 4 night with 4 strikeouts. Tough night for Tommy. Cardinals have the lead. It's 5-0. Another curtain call, another game for Tyler O'Neill. 3-run blast tonight, 5-0 Cardinals. As we head to the 7th inning. Salvador Perez, Whit Merrifield, and Hunter Dozier. The last hit for the Royals was back in the 3rd inning. John Jay. And then he was stranded at second base. Jairo Munoz takes over for Greg Garcia. He's at shortstop. Jairo's probably thinking, why is some of the dirt lighter than other parts of the dirt? They do that for Greg Garcia. That's a drying agent that they'll put on the dirt just for Greg.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
I'm not sure what you were thinking I was going to say, but I'm not sure I want to know.
He was thinking, how the heck did I get out here?
Hey, when you're at home, you get home field advantage. And if you told Bill Finley, would you please cut the grass a certain way in center, he would probably do that.
For sure, he did all the time. It was amazing. And you got to love the fact that the grounds crew is involved with what's going on as you are, because when you ask them to do something, they do it because they know it benefits. And then there you go. They make little adjustments and you go for it.
How would he cut the grass for you? Which way did you like it?
Straight. Where were you? Just were somewhere and I sent you a text.
Minnesota.
Yeah. And they had that. It's kind of a unique look where it looks like it's kind of a little weavy, but actually it's rolling straight towards each position. So in the gaps, it might have a little crisscross a little bit, but when the ball's hit right at the right fielder, left fielder, and center fielder, it's going to roll true. And so we mow it straight towards straightaway right, center, and left. And then, like I said, sometimes in the gaps, they're going to overlap a little bit.
So this way that it's cut right here, this view, what's the ball going to do?
Me and Billy would be fighting right now.
Is that right?
Yes. I do not like that at all. But that's because, for me, I used to charge the ball really hard. I wanted to throw guys out. I wanted to do things on defense because it's so hard to play on the offensive side of the ball all the time. And each one of those little patches, it's like when you mow your grass at home, or when you vacuum your rug and you see the lights in the darks. Well, each one of those different colors is where the way that the grass is going. So let's just say the green is the grass is going to the left, and the lighter color the grass is going to the right. So when the ball hits each color, it actually does bounce back and forth, and they call it snaking. And so one of these days we'll have a good shot of it, but the ball will actually snake all the way out to you, and if you mistime it, the ball goes right by you. And a lot of times when you see an outfielder come in and try to pick up a ball really quick and it goes by him, probably half of those times is because when he goes down to get it, the ball just kind of moves right out of the way.
You know, one of the questions I get a lot from fans is, when will they cut the arch back into the outfield? It happened in the All-Star game of '09, and fans loved it. They
I liked
loved
it
seeing
too.
it. It's a 9-pitch at bat for Perez. And Michaelis wins that battle with strikeout number 8, held on to by Pena.
Cutter there, slider, not where he wanted it, but good result.
And a strike on Whit Merrifield, who struck out and was hit by a pitch. And that pitch taken high. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And you got me staring at the outfield grass and wondering why anyone would like the grass cut like that. I'll tell you what, though, Billy was great to me, and Pretty much saved me a lot.
It's put away by Carpenter. The 2018 St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class has been selected. Cardinals and Edward Jones will honor Harry Brackeen, Vince Coleman, and Ray Langford. The induction ceremony will be on August 18th at 3 at Ballpark Village. Learn more at cardinals.com/HOF. My partner Jim Edmonds in that first class, along with Willie McGee. Two of the most popular players in franchise history. Always a special day. Hunter Dozier 0 for 2. Miles Michaelis 2 3-ball counts tonight. 2. His last 6 starts, he's 4-0. 2 runs or less in his last 6. And the 2-1 lifted into right. O'Neill over near the line and with room to make the catch. Michaelis is cruising. Coming up, Matt Carpenter 2 more hits tonight, and then Martinez and Ozuna. Home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Smile. Here's Carpenter. Fly ball. Right field. Gone. First pitch of the inning. And Carpenter is now a triple away from the cycle. 4th home run of the year. And the Cardinals have a 6-0 lead. Thanks to Matt Carpenter, the Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
Doesn't look much different than the swing that he popped up. Just hitting a round ball with a round bat, and sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it does. What a good swing, and hope he just continues to stay hot.
Boy, how locked in is he? Man.
Ouch.
It's now 13 for his last 24. This got the arm, it looked like, of Perez.
Ooh, it comes, right on the bicep. Not good. Shake it off and go again. Some tough boys behind that home plate.
Here's the 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Players will talk about they get one on the bicep, how it tightens up after a game.
It's unusual that as good of a catcher that he is, that he lets that arm hang that much down and out. Was talking to one of the young catchers on Landon's team the other day, and he got hit in the hand barely, and I said, if you don't put that hand behind your back, it's going to get hit again.
Yep. How many of the parents ask you to give individual lessons to their kids?
None.
They
None,
leave you
but
alone?
I volunteer. I think they respect the fact that I'm watching my son, which is amazing. We just had a visitor from one of Landon's baseball parents, but I try to offer when I see something that really needs to be adjusted. You know, you can mess with those young kids too much, but when I see a young player doing something really wrong, or in that case getting close to having an injury, I try to stop him right away. And it's really nice that now that they're at the age where they understand where I'm coming from and they listen right away, and to give those kids a lot of credit for having the whereabouts to pay attention to someone other than their coach. I think now they're at the age where they know who I am, and I'm around. I try to help a little bit now more than I ever did, and so it's fun. I like to be able to teach kids that will listen. That makes it fun. When you're just teaching to teach, I think that's tough. I mean, you want to make an impact. You just don't want to stand out there and talk.
3-2 the count on Martinez. 1 for 3 with a run scored tonight. And a call, 3rd strike.
Wow.
For Jason, Adam his 2nd strikeout.
So this is what you call keep the line moving. Still got a chance to make dinner. You know, I find it interesting now that I got involved a little bit more, where I'm learning a lot from parents and coaches, where I just kind of stayed out of the way for so long. I've actually learned a lot from Landon's basketball coach. Taught me just about teaching young kids, that they don't all understand certain things. What was fascinating to me was, like, you can only teach them so much at a time and retain that information. And he was actually, it's funny because you see these kids and they just play sport after sport. Now they're all kind of staying together with the same, all the different sports, and you start to see the same parents. But it's fun when they really do listen, and when I can actually apply stuff that I've learned from other coaches in other sports, because there's stuff that I think are pretty obvious that's not so obvious at that level.
Well, even take it to this level, there are great players who are not great coaches. And I say that because as players, maybe it came a little easier to them than others at this level.
Well,
so they overlooked that.
I think sometimes too, you see a lot of the really good coaches weren't the best players, and they're a little bit more hard-working guys, and they know how to work. You're right, though. Some of the guys that got the game came too easy, that really have a hard time putting it into words.
People ask me about working with you, and the one thing that has stood out more than anything is how much you put into the game. I always felt the game came easy to you, and you've always told me absolutely not.
The game was a grind.
Yeah.
And I think too is the mental grind is the hardest part, and I find that when you're in the box and you're struggling in the mental grind of hitting, it really can take a toll on every part of your game.
Sure. Back-to-back strikeouts, 3 for Adam. And a nice round of applause for Tyler O'Neill, and why not? O'Neill with a 3-run homer in the 3rd and an RBI double in the 5th. Take a look at O'Neill's home run via StatCast. That is power there. 1 ball, 1 strike. I
like
will
those.
say this, by the way, he needs to find a helmet that fits.
I know.
His helmet keeps
That's
coming
funny.
off.
Those kind of things drive me crazy as a player, and it's hard. You know, I'll tell you what. Coming up and being a young player, you kind of take what they give you a little bit, even though it fits. You're just like, one didn't fit, so I'll take this one. And even if it doesn't fit, you sometimes wear it.
Just you're
don't
happy
want
to be here. Yeah.
That's too much.
Thank you very much, and move on.
Walsh, you got to get him a new helmet down there. come to his rescue.
He's had some swings, and the helmet's flying off.
The helmet almost flew off on the homer.
2-2. Walshy, by the way, is Mark Walsh, who works down in the clubhouse. He's been a club employee for so many years, and great to all of us, and a great friend. The 2-2 pitch, and a strikeout of O'Neill. With the home run hit by Carpenter, that started things off in the bottom of the 7th. He's now a triple away from the cycle. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. So Colton Wong at second base now. Matt Carpenter takes over at first. And Miles Michaelis pitching into inning number 8. Here's Alex Gordon. And that pitch just a little bit low. Gordon hit into the shift. And he was also called out on strikes. 0 for 2 tonight. 2 balls, no strikes.
Got to believe that when you throw as many strikes as he does and works as fast as he does, you would kind of want the benefit of the doubt on those first 2 pitches. I would.
He's only pitched into the 8th inning 1 time in his career, August 25th of 2014. And Gordon sends a high fly ball into center. Backing up Pham near the track and makes the catch. 12 in a row set down by Miles Michaelis. Sunday, June 3rd, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a unique bobblehead of former Cardinal pitcher Chris Carpenter. And it's also an ice cream sundae. Cardinals.com/promotions.
I have a hard time believing they got the face right on the slide across first base right there.
I was reading the promo and didn't take a very close look. Maybe I can get another
Maybe
look
we
at
could
it.
get another shot of that for a split second.
Let's see. You're talking about Chris Carpenter, right?
I remember that play being a little tougher than it looks on that bobblehead.
No big deal. I'm sliding into first. It's all good.
The game on the line. Touching first base with my finger as the guy's stepping right over my hand. What a life.
There's Wong, and a little jam shot carries to him by Escobar.
Maybe we can get him up here that day and ask him if he approved that bobblehead.
You know what? He is a different guy than we all remember when he was pitching. I mean, he is mild-mannered. Loves to talk.
Always was that way off the field, but on the field, holy moly, do not get in the way.
Yep. This is Ryan Goins. And a ground ball hit to the right side, taken by Carpenter to Michaelis. He's had 96 pitches. Will he finish what he started? And Miles Michaelis. Miles Michaelis is probably saying, hey,
remember when you took me out 1 out before?
Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Can I have this complete game shutout?
He's at 97 pitches. And now it's Jed Jerko. Blaine Boyer spent a little time here in St. Louis. He's into the ball game now for Kansas City. 15 games he pitched for the 2009 Cardinals. So Chevy called to the pen. Up and in.
I'll tell you what, the one thing I can think about when I see Mike talking to the pitcher like that is I just back and think of how many of those meetings he's been in on the other side, but he's been sitting on the bench with the pitcher sitting above him and the manager is talking to both of them. So of anybody in this league in the manager position right now, he's been there enough to really understand that. And it's not just being a catcher or being in that position. It's recent, you know, like the game has really changed in the last 10 years with how you treat the players and what they're able to get through and how you have to kind of keep an eye on them a little closer and really pull them back. Back in the old days, I don't even think that conversation's happening with less than 130 pitches.
Well, you know, today's manager also has to go to a player many times and explain why a move was made the night before to a position player maybe they get pinch hit for.
A lot of guys get their feelings hurt now.
And a strikeout of Jerko. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts now for the Cardinals against Kansas City pitching. Our Budweiser, what's on tap? Next couple of games. Hamill and Weaver, that'll be tomorrow. And then Michael Walkup on Wednesday. Cardinals have struck out 10 times in this game. There's Jairo Munoz. Hits it sharply to second. He was a pinch runner for Greg Garcia back in the 6th. The word on Garcia is lower back tightness, so take care of that. Hopefully nothing too serious. Francisco Pena. Maybe don't give him enough credit here. Back-to-back days with what he did with Jack Flaherty yesterday and what he's done on the same page with Miles Michaelis.
I mean, what you said is right. It's not as easy as it looks. I mean, these pitchers at the big league level got a good idea of what's going on, but you still have to handle their personalities and and you got to react to what they're doing well that night, and then you got to go out there and do your job. Would have to think getting the trust of the pitching staff would be tough when you're backing up a guy like Yadier Molina. Who wants to be the guy that has to throw to the backup catcher? So none of the pitchers do. It doesn't matter how good you are as a backup. You have to earn that.
And Pena grounds it to third. When we come back, Miles Michaelis back to the mound, looking for a complete game shutout. outstanding tonight. Has not allowed a base hit since back in the third. It's been a total of 4 hits tonight. Gave up 2 hits back-to-back in the first. 2 more hits back-to-back in the third. On the night, he has struck out 8. And trying to finish what he started. That'll help. John Jay, first pitch, center field. Pham is there. Along with Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes with us as well. Pitch count at 98. And here's Jorge Soler, 0 for 3. And still Miles with some nasty stuff.
That's a good breaking ball right there. Look at this breaking ball right here. Good downward break at the end.
Here's the 0-1. Make it 0-2. Back-to-back breaking balls and another beauty.
I'm going to have to say he might see a third right here. Definitely something out of the zone.
Another one, and he struck him out. 9 tonight for Miles Michaelis. They're on their feet, a crowd of 42,140 tonight. The first pitch to Moustakas is taken for a ball. 9 strikeouts, no walks, and 4 hits allowed thus far for Miles Michaelis. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last night, the 22-year-old Jack Flaherty, 7 2/3 yesterday afternoon. Now Michaelis. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. The 2-1 just missed. And that is the first walk at home this year allowed by Michaelis. His first.
Take that right there. I mean, you don't really have anything to gain by not letting him hit the ball, but you still don't want to give in. Just throw the ball right down the middle. Got a 4-hit shutout going in the 9th. You're not just going to throw a 3-1 heater down the middle, let him hit it for a homer.
Salvador Perez, strike 1. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball pulled foul, nothing, and 2.
Tell you what, he does a good job of hitting all the edges, back and forth, never in the same spot. He comes in twice. One's going to be straight, one's going to be moving, cutting. I feel like he's just always keeping you off balance.
The 0-2. Fly ball into right. O'Neill over. He's got it. Miles Michaelis pumps his fist in the air. Goes the distance. Complete game shutout. 6-0. Miles Michaelis. We'll keep it right here. Jim Hayes, after all the high fives and handshakes, will visit with the Cardinal right-hander. And a night I'm sure he'll never forget.
I'm gonna say this is a special night for a pitcher like this, especially after all of his travels. Doesn't happen that often. A complete game shutout. You go out there. Mike did a great job of letting him go back out there in the ninth. And like I said, this doesn't happen enough, so hopefully he gets to enjoy it. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a Gatorade bath or a beer shower waiting for him when he gets back to his locker.
In Japan and now back in the big leagues. He's remade himself into one of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball. It is quite a story. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
First career complete game shutout for Miles Michaelis. It seemed like everything was working for you tonight.
Yeah, I got locked in a couple innings in, and Pay and I just on the same page and just kept rolling with it.
First pitch strikes throughout the game, getting ahead in counts, was that key?
Yeah, you know, I want to get ahead in counts. I want to keep my pitch count low, give my chance to get as deep into the game as I can.
Fastball was very good among other pitches.
Yeah, I felt like I had really good command of that today. Moving it in and out, I think probably the key to my success.
You did not allow a base hit past the third inning. It seemed like you were getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I got a little frustrated with myself after that inning, so I really tried to lock it in and bear down and give us some good shutdown innings after we scored some runs.
For what you've been through in your professional career, going to Japan, then coming back here to put together a game like this, as good as the season has gone, what does tonight mean to you?
Tonight's huge. You know, so obviously, you know, first complete game and shutout, and you know, I think it's a stepping stone. Hopefully, keep the ball rolling, help the team win, and climb towards the top of the division.
Good work. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Miles Michaelis.
25 of 31 first pitch strikes, first career shutout, 9 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, 109 pitches tonight. He's now 6-0 on the year. What a night for Miles Michaelis. His reaction to the final out. What a story this is turning into.